It's been over a year since Silent Hill 2 Remake dropped, and I think we've had enough time to really sit with what Bloober Team pulled off here. Looking back, I'll be honest. I was expecting this to bomb hard when it was first announced.
Huh? What the fuck are you talking about, man?
We've all seen what happens when dev try to remake beloved horror games. They either smooth out everything that made it weird to make it more marketable, completely miss the point, or just don't get what made the original special. But now that we've all had time to play through it and let it sink in, it's pretty clear Bloober Team actually nailed it.
Well, that's good news.
Before we get into it though, quick spoiler warning. I'm going to be talking about story elements, endings, and specific moments from the game, so if you somehow haven't played the game yet, even though it's been out for over a year, I mean, what have you been doing?
Why are you here?
But seriously, go play it first, then come back to this video. Okay, for everyone that's still here, let's get into it.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday. But you never did.
First off, they kept the story intact, and that was probably the smartest thing they could have done. Silent Hill 2's story doesn't need a reimagining because James Sunderland's journey through his guilt and grief is already one of gaming's most devastating narratives. Mary's letter, the encounters with Angela, Eddie, and Laura, and that crushing revelation at the hotel, it's all here exactly as it should be. And they treated it with the respect it deserves.
Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? I was almost killed back there. I have never been so scared in my whole life.
But what really got me is how they captured the atmosphere that made the original so haunting. The original had this oppressive feeling that made you feel uncomfortable just being in that town, and that remake gets it. Walking through those apartments with nothing but distant static and your own footsteps, it feels the same way it did back in 2001. They didn't just rebuild the locations, they captured the same dread that made the original unforgettable. When I first walked down those foggy streets in the remake, I genuinely felt like I was experiencing the original again for the first time, and that's when I knew they really understood this game. Here's where it gets interesting. Because they didn't just copy the original, they added stuff that actually makes the experience better. Eddie's icy breath in the abandoned theater is a perfect example. You can actually see it in the air, and it's not just showing off the better graphics. It's hinting at this frozen otherworld that's part of Eddie's breakdown. It's subtle storytelling that's add depth to his character without being too obvious about it.
Are you alone here, Eddie?
No.
Well,
It's probably just Laura messing around.
the little girl? Laura, is that her name?
That's what she said.
I'm gonna go look for her. You coming?
Now you want me to come with you?
The puzzles got reworked too, and not in a random way. Remember that coin puzzle in the apartments? It's been completely redesigned to actually connect to the game's themes instead of just being another obstacle. These changes feel thought out and respectful, not like they were done just to be different. And then there are the new endings. Multiple new endings that give you different perspective on James's story. If you're like me and you've played through the original way too many times, having new stuff to discover is really exciting. They're not replacing the classic endings either, which I highly appreciate. They're expanding things in ways that give you actual reasons to replay. These additions feel like they came from people who genuinely played and loved the original, not from people who just read the Wikipedia summary. Okay, real talk. The original Silent Hill 2's control are rough, and I say that as someone who loves that game. Tank controls and fixed cameras were standard back then and worked for what they were trying to do. But let's be honest, they're a barrier for a lot of people today. The remake updates everything in ways that actually make sense, and I'm glad they did. The over the shoulder camera just works better for this kind of horror. You're way closer to James, you can actually see what's happening without fighting the camera, and somehow it doesn't lose any of the tension. If anything, being this close makes everything feel more threatening because you're more vulnerable.
You're supposed to be the big man around here. How's a little girl like me supposed to help?
They also added a dodge button which completely transforms the combat. It's way more dynamic now while still keeping that desperate survival feeling. You're still not some overpowered action hero. James is literally just some guy swinging a rusty pipe, but now you can actually move around threats.
Hell yeah!
Dodge, reposition, pick your moments, and hope you don't die. It feels desperate without feeling broken or frustrating. Being able to target enemy weak points adds this whole tactical layer to fights. Aim for specific spots and you can take enemies down more efficiently, which rewards you for paying attention instead of just button mashing. I know some people are probably upset about these changes because they want the same experience, but honestly, the game plays way better this way. New players can actually get into it without fighting the controls, and somehow it still keeps that same tense, uncomfortable feeling the original had. That's a tough balance to hit, but they managed it.
Oh, hell no!
And this is what really convinced me about this remake. Bloober Team genuinely loves this game, and you can tell. They didn't just develop this as some job, they went deep with the research. They read the fan theories, scrolled through Reddit threads, studied the debates about symbolism and what the original designers were going for. And then they actually put that stuff into the game for longtime fans.
But wait! There's more!
You know about that theory that James has been stuck in a loop and repeating this nightmare over and over? If you collect all the Polaroid photos, the game basically confirms it. That's not in the original at all. That's Bloober Team saying, yeah, we've been reading your theories and here's our answer. They saw what the community was talking about and they acknowledged it.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Or that whisper in the apartment building that's genuinely creepy. If you know what I'm talking about. It's completely random and not everyone will even encounter it, but when you do hear it, it's very unsettling. That's the kind of detail you only add when you really understand what makes the game scary and what fans have been discussing for years. You can feel that care everywhere in this remake, the sound design that recreates that oppressive audio, the lighting that sets the exact mood, the way they frame iconic moments to honor the original while improving how it looks. This didn't happen because someone followed a checklist. This happened because the people making it actually cared about doing it right.
Are you feeling better?
This place is different from what I remember. I guess things never really stay the same, do they?
I can't talk about why this remake did so well without mentioning this. It's been years since we got a good Silent Hill game that actually felt like Silent Hill. The franchise has been dormant for over a decade, so many cancelled projects that looked promising, weird spin offs nobody asked for, games that completely missed what made the series special. Fans have been waiting for something that captured that classic Silent Hill feeling, and that wait has been too long. This wasn't just another game coming out. This was Silent Hill's chance to come back. And if Bloober messed this up, that probably would have been the end for the franchise because fans were already losing hope.
That sounds overly dramatic.
Fortunately, they didn't mess it up, and looking back over a year later, people are still into it in a way that's pretty rare for horror game remakes. People are still playing Silent Hill 2, still making videos about it, still finding new details. The franchise feels alive again for the first time, and that hasn't died down like it does with most games after the initial hype.
Laura, why do you keep running away from me? And how do you know about Mary?
I just do. What's the big deal?
Why can't you just tell me?
You gonna yell at me if I don't?
Sometimes the wait makes things hit harder, and this is definitely one of those times. And the fact that we're still talking about it over a year later, that says everything about how well Bloober Team did.
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
So looking back over a year later, why did Silent Hill 2 Remake become such a huge hit when so many remakes fall flat? Because Bloober Team understood that you don't improve something great by tearing it apart. You respect what made it special, you update the things that needed updating, and you add thoughtful details that show you actually understood it. It's faithful to what made the original iconic without being afraid to improve the mechanics that needed work. It's modern in how it looks and plays without abandoning the soul that made the original so memorable. And most importantly, it's made by people who clearly loved the source material and wanted to share that with both longtime fans and people discovering Silent Hill for the first time.
Shut up and take my money!
In a world full of lazy remakes and obvious cash grabs that don't respect their source material, Silent Hill 2 proves that when developers actually care, when they do their research and listen to what the community has been saying, you can create something that honors what came before while working for modern audiences. And the fact that over a year later, people are still finding new things, still playing through it, still celebrating it, it earned its place as the definitive way to experience this story. If you made it to the end, drop a comment and let me know what you thought of the remake and what your favorite part was. And if you want more videos about why games work or don't work, hit that subscribe button because I've got more to talk about. Thanks for watching, keep gaming, and stay awesome.